It's there.
Welcome to Meat Pies and Shots Part 2. I'm Dan Tomlinson.
I'm Johnny Compton.
Alright, let's crack on then. We've reviewed games for Wakefield Warrington, Castleford St Helens and Huddersfield and Rovers. If you missed them, check out Part 1 on our YouTube page and don't forget to click the subscribe button. I'm being serious, Johnny will kill you if you don't.
Like and comment.
Like and comment, yeah, I like that. Give it a little share as well, tell your mates. Tell them there's two, blokes who know nothing about Rugby League on YouTube talking rubbish about the game and tell them to watch it. But yeah, Catalans v Leeds then. I had a good chuckle watching this, I'm not going to lie. I went to FC Reserves, they played Wakefield on Saturday, and I got in about 10 to 5, just as the game was, just about to start. So I was absolutely wetting myself. I thought, hang on, Leeds have turned the corner here. They started the game really strongly. They looked really good. They got into a healthy lead in the first half. And then they just bottled it, didn't they? Ended up losing the game 26-22.
No game management.
No, there's just nothing about them. I will credit Catalans here. They're such a weird team out there. We did mention this last week, but they can be red hot or they can be really poor. But there was somewhere in the middle. Forward Yaya, the winger, 4 tries. I'm so glad they got him back from his brief spell in the Union because he's a great player.
For me, though, Sam Cassiano changed that game, didn't he? And genuinely not fit. Just got off a plane.
But they were screaming from the fans, weren't they?
He played 15 minutes. He came on and he absolutely took it to Leeds and they couldn't handle him.
He's a massive human.
He was a big one. He's another Paulie, isn't he? Another Fafita, another Murdoch Masilla. Is that style of player where you're going to have some impact and he will. The fans at Catalans will love him and will get behind him.
It's like what you just said, Johnny. You just said, he's just come off a plane. He's obviously not fit. He hasn't played rugby in a while and he does that for 15 minutes. He's a big name NRL player, but he's someone who will do well in Super League. He's not a Conrad Hurrell or a Tory Lawler here who've been absolutely hopeless, just like we said they would last week.
I don't mind Hurrell. I don't. He works hard for him, apart from when he's not. I mean, he spat his dummy out in this game, didn't he? And that was ridiculous. He should have got a yellow card for that. So
the week before, we was at Hull v Wakefield in Super League, where Mark Sneed belted the ball, pretty much out the stadium. It was that ferocious of a kick and. The Wakefield players, which I don't agree with, and I'm not singling out Wakefield because it happens in Super League all over the place now, started screaming at the ref, pointing at Sneed, saying, get him sin binned. And it was the right decision, I'm not disputing that. If you kick the ball away, you get 10 minutes.
It's not that if you kick the ball away. The rule is, and I pointed this out to a few people on Sunday as well, and I see the difference between the two. Because the rule there with Sneed is that he delayed the restart from a tap 20, from a 7 tackle set. And the rule there is that's an automatic yellow card.
That's true.
You throw the ball away in normal play, what they do is they reprimand you. They can penalise you if they think it's serious, but normally they just call time off. So you're not losing any time.
Should be a sin bin, though. The fact that what did he say?
Any dissent should be a sin bin, full stop. If they did that, for me, you look at it and it's a wider point, but any dissent in the game, yellow card. The minute you swear at a referee, it's a red card.
Well, yeah. Jake Connor got lucky in the pre-season game, didn't he? If we're, the four-letter C word, if he genuinely did say that, then the
Chris Kendall.
Yeah, then the ref. It's probably accurate. It's probably an accurate, description of Kendall as a referee, but you can't say it, can you?
Chris Kendall.
You can't condone it, can you? You can't condone people speaking to referees like that. This is one area where the other code gets it right. This is one area where football, soccer, what you want to call it, gets it horrendously wrong. We don't want to go down that route where we're play acting, we're milking everything, we're calling the referees, Rich coming to when we get to the London game later, because I've got to spit mad on me out there, but we've got to, be a respectful game, haven't we?
Should have had him on Sunday.
No, I won't happy at all. But yeah, we'll move on quickly before.
Before we do move on, I just want to say 4 tries to a winger from Catalans, 3 from a guy. Imagine being Ash Handley scoring an hat-trick and finishing on the losing.
Imagine having both Yaha and Ash Handley in your Super League dream team. If anyone had both of them, they're laughing. Yeah. Imagine if you had them both to score a hat-trick in a bet. That would be ridiculous. They were good finishes as well. Some of them were walk-ins, don't get me wrong, but a couple of Yaha's tries were. were really well finished. I'm just, like I said when we started this, I'm really glad to see him back in our game. You never want to see rugby league players move to a different sport. You want to keep him in rugby league, and Yaha's only young. He's only, I think he's 21.
It's a big lad though, isn't he? For a while, but modern day, when you Steve McNamara came out with something interesting after this game though. That he actually said, although the won and he was pleased with it, he felt their performance was a step back from the previous week. So, does that tell you more about where Leeds are at?
It's interesting that because they were awful against Rovers for large parts of that game.
He must have seen something we didn't.
Well, again, he's got 2 wins, hasn't he?
Salford Wigan.
Well,
we didn't call this, did we?
No, our little up the cream tipping league, yeah, the only rugby league fanzine you can buy in the UK, up the cream. We both tipped Salford. And it's the only one we got wrong this weekend. It's the only one I got wrong. Some of us idiots tipped Rovers, didn't they?
No, I backed Cast.
Cast, yeah, my bad. What a stupid comment there, Dan. Why would Johnny tip Rovers? But Wigan, you got to tip your hat off to George Williams, another player who scored a hat-trick this weekend. And it can't be an easy time for Williams because, there's constant speculation within the game that he's moving to Canberra next year. Well, if you believe the rumours, don't you? I mean, everyone said this about Bateman last year and it was true. So, yeah, if you believe what you hear, on the grapevine and that, George
Nobody's
Williams,
come out to say it's not true.
That is true.
If it wasn't true, somebody would have...
Well, look at the ones that came out on social media last night. People were saying Anthony Jelling's moving to Cass, and apparently a witness-based journal's come out and said that's a load of rubbish.
No offers for him.
The Wigan stuff last night, I'm not even going to repeat it because I don't want any libel suits coming my way, but... Let's just search Wigan bad boy
players,
Wigan players on Twitter and all that nonsense, and that's been proven a load of rubbish as well. So
there was one of them, wasn't there? A young kid who was involved.
Well, like I say, I don't want a libel suit coming my way.
But who was with him, eh?
Williams was Tweedledum and Tweedledee. Wigan, very good. As I say, Williams, the pressure that's on him right now must be ridiculous, and it will be affecting his game because he knows that when you've got you're in the papers, your name's getting talked about all the time. You've got to respond, haven't you, and prove that you're worth.
It was I don't think it was any coincidence that their left edge was back. They had Burgess back, Oliver Gildart, Joe Greenwood, all playing with Williams, and now that's a strong left edge for any Super League.
Is that
team,
a potential England left edge?
Gildart's not up to it for me.
Well,
I wouldn't play Burgess either. And
the boys were spoiled with winners, aren't we?
And you probably won't end up playing Joe Greenwood either. You look at your back row is likely to be Bateman, Whitehead, Burgess. There's some talent there.
Some talent, isn't there?
Right. Yeah. But no, I mean Salford. Ian Watson said that their right edge defence was awful, and you look at they had Ed Chamberlain and Daryl Alforts opposite over Gildart and Joe Burgess, and this is the sign of the squads really, and the depth of the squads, and you can see the difference at Salford. At the start of the year, I wrongly, and I'll blow my hands up, I was wrong on this. I tipped them to finish bottom because I looked at their squad depth and where they were at with it, and who they had as backup. In fact, there's no reserves there, no real kids looking like they're coming through, and I thought they would struggle once they got a couple of injuries. Ian Watson has worked miracles so far, and their senior players have stepped up and gone through it. But
2 years ago, 2017 season, Salford started very similar to how they have now. They won a lot of games. I think they ended up finishing 6th that year, but after 23 rounds before the Super 8 split, they was in the top 4, I believe. So, but then they fell off the rails completely after that. They ended up losing a lot of games, and as I say, finished 6th. I see it being a sort of similar season. I think they'll continue a strong start. They'll probably win as many games as they lose for, half to maybe 2/3 of the season, then they'll drop off again. And that'll be because they play the same 17 week in, week out, because unfortunately the additional quality isn't there. That's obviously down to a lack of financial capability at the club right now. But the thing I like about Salford is they've always played the game the right way. Ian Watson's a really good coach. He gets them playing expansively, and it's attractive to watch and enjoyable and all that. And there's some potential there, clearly. They just need the fans to back them, don't they? There must be, there must be more people in Salford that are willing to support, the Red Devils than what they currently get in the league right now. Because you think of that game against Huddersfield, the first game of the season, it took about 1,500 away fans there, which is ridiculous. And so why don't them people, tell their mates and come back to home games and try, help the club out a little bit? I really don't understand that.
You've got a situation though where there's so many clubs in such a small area. I mean, you've got Wigan, Saints, Leigh, Warrington,
You see that that's out of the way.
Widnes,
We're talking Manchester here, right?
Salford. They're not really Manchester now. Though you look at where the ground's based and everything, and it's just as you come in there. They're all it's Lancashire area. They're not far away from it. And they do have a lot of competition. It's not a traditionally well, it used to be. When I say it's not a traditional rugby league area, it hasn't been in recent times, and I'm talking about the last 20, 30 years. And it's a football dominated city.
Well, you think when Manchester United...
Well, you've got two of the biggest football clubs in the world, haven't you, on the doorstep. And it's not the wealthiest area in the world, either as Salford.
Bit of a ghetto, really.
So I can sort of see it, and I don't know how sustainable it is. They're punching above the weight at the minute. But for them to continue and to grow and to develop, they need to find some more fans from somewhere. It's as simple as that. And I don't necessarily think that long term they're viable. But that's the beauty of sport. Results on a pitch will determine how they do and how they go forward. There were some very good players. Jackson Hastings, Joey Lussett, Niall Evans, Rob Louis. Even Jake Bibby's starting to really show some form, isn't he? And then you've got in the back row like Sir Josh Jones, Jansen Tergate. These are good players who are going well for them. Lee Mossop is back to his old form when he got an NRL deal. They've got a nucleus of a good team. I agree with you. I think they'll reach a wall, and it is that playing week in, week out, same 17, and they're having to play at their optimum every week to compete.
I couldn't agree more with that, and that's what I was on about when I say financial capability. It's how far can they keep going? How far can Ian Watson take them? You know, I think we mentioned British coaches in the last one, and you're thinking if you're Ian Watson right now and you're watching what's going on at Leeds, you're watching what's going on at Wigan to some extent. Thinking, hang on a minute.
He's going to be sought after, isn't he?
He's absolutely, because what he's done at Salford, he's worked wonders there. Ian Watson's done an absolutely outstanding job there. I just worry how far beyond the current level he can actually take Salford as a club. But like you say, there is talent there. You know, you mentioned Hastings. I really do like Jansen Tergate. I liked him at all. I think there's always a player there who's got to nurture and grow his potential. You know, as for Wigan, you can't emphasise enough what a massive win that was for them, because, you know, they was in deep trouble, weren't they, at the foot of the table, and they really needed it, especially with all the off-field stuff as well. You know, you got Sean Edwards, who apparently, I mean, what's the verbal contract? how can a couple of sentences be legally binding?
He was talking about giving him oral, wasn't he?
Mate, if you'll go down on me, then we'll count this as a shake. Wow. I think he got the wrong kind of shake, didn't he? Did a Mr. Ian Lanigan. Oh, wow. These are supposed to be one of the front runners of the game, Wigan. They're supposed to be a rugby league powerhouse. They're supposed to be leading by example, especially all the stuff that came out last season.
They've got no 7 on the pitch. They've got no 7, and they're a bit weak in terms of the in comparison to where they've been in previous years. I think I don't see them going down. But then I don't see them challenging towards the top end either. I think they'll pick up a few more.
Mid-table, they'll pick up some wins. They'll probably finish about 6th or 7th, maybe as low as 8th. But they're not going to get relegated, are they? No. Wigan, though, you think of their squad right now.
Next year looks like it's going to be worse for them.
Well, for Lewis Williams and a couple of others. Their recruitment has been dog shit for years now. Yeah. You know, Wigan notoriously sound the very best of what you can get. You think of NRL imports that they've had in the past. Obviously, Trent Barrett, comes to mind. The 2 years that they had Trent Barrett, he was phenomenal. Even players like Pat Richards, George Carmon, they've all Brett Dallas, back in the early days and so.
Where is the money then with them? Where is it? Because they get good crowds again.
Well, that's the thing, do they? Against Hull, no one turned up. They gave the crowd that day 11,000, but I think it was more like 8 or 9. They must do the EABS magic calculator at Hull City.
Is that season pass holders getting disillusioned and not coming along?
Well, if you speak to Wigan fans, I do like talking to Wigan fans because they've got this self-right that they should be, getting to Old Trafford every year, and if they don't, it's a disgrace, and that everyone else is a village club and whatnot. But they didn't like Sean Wayne. I can't get my head around this because Sean Wayne won 3 Super League titles at Wigan, 2013, 2016, obviously last season. He won a couple of Challenge Cups with them as well. There was always competing. I think they had 1 year, didn't they, in 2017, where they didn't finish in the top 4. And you're complaining, you're calling for his head. And the fans, they've lost about 2,500 members in a couple of years. And did they hate Sean Wayne's brand of rugby that much that they're now boycotting the club? I really don't understand it. And
winning rugby.
Exactly. Yeah, it might not be the most flamboyant, but if you're winning every week, who cares?
Who cares, yeah. My mate Ollie came up with a good shout on Sunday, and it was, what price Sean Wayne to go to Leeds by the end of the year as a former Leeds
Played
player.
yeah.
Turn up there. I can see both Wigan and Leeds losing their coaches at some point this season and looking for somebody else. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if they then go back capping hand to Sean Wayne saying, yeah, we got this wrong.
Can't Adrian give his son a call? Get him say, the Roosters, saying he made his NRL debut, we'll come on to that in part 4, but it's getting desperate a little bit for David Fenner and Adrian Lamb at Leeds and Wigan respectively. They're, looking...
Along with the
ominous.
Wizard, Mr. Sheens.
He's
the
borrowed
three.
time.
Yeah, borrowed time.
They're actually calling for his head now, aren't they? On his head on a spike, Game of Thrones style. Can't wait for that to come out next month. Maybe we'll do a YouTube for that as well. The last game of the weekend then, London v Hull, 28-24 victory for the Black and Whites. I'll probably just take a couple of deep breaths and let Johnny take this one because I wasn't happy with the way the game was officiated.
I agree. The game was more comfortable than the scoreline looks, though. I think Sneed had an off day for once with his kicking, but it was very windy. It was a big gusty wind.
Wasn't it?
It was incredibly windy coming towards.
I had the sun in my face. It was gorgeous.
It was bright sunshine, but there was a big gusty wind as well.
I see my suntan on my shades.
And he's entitled to an off day now and then with it. He missed 4 kicks. You had those 8 points to it, and at one point would have been 36-10 up. And then that really would have just been game over and it'd have been comfortable.
What's more rare, a Marcus Sneed off day or Hull Kingston Rovers winning a major trophy?
Oh, well, I don't like to. Let's not go there. You talk about the game though with London and FC, and I thought London were strong, workmanlike, good, poor halfbacks, and I think that's what will hold them back. I think the 2 halfbacks that they had playing didn't take the ball to the line, didn't engage us.
Got to have names.
Morgan Smith.
And what's the other one?
That fat red and white fella. Jordan Abdul.
So what's your gripe with Abdul then?
Well, Jordan Abdul, as a contracted Hull FC player, sang that Dead Dead Dobbin song whilst he was playing for him. He should have refused. I mean, the club put him in the position. They sent him out on loan. But he did that. Then came back to us and refused to celebrate when he scored against them. So that was it. And then, given a chance in the first team by Lee Radford and being backed, we get stuffed 70-odd points to 8 or whatever it was at Warrington.
80 points to 10.
Yeah, even worse than that. And he goes and hands a transfer request in straight after the game. He's just... But... And it was a frustration for me before any of this as well. I was a bit of a lone voice and I'd turn around and say Jordan Abdul at Hull FC was never going to cut it as a top line Super League player. People who cry out say, oh, he's a 13, oh, he's a great 6, he's got this, he's got that. He's a target defensively. He doesn't take the ball to the line enough. He doesn't run the ball enough. He's got one attribute and it's a big left-footed kick, and that is it. And he's almost found his level for me. He's a bottom-end Super League player, top-end Championship. That's what he is. And that was always my argument, is he was heralded as the next coming. And then on top of that, the fact that in my eyes, and what do I know? But in my eyes, he wasn't good enough. He then compounded it by nailing his colours to the red and white mast. Never going to happen for me. But I was very pleased to see on Sunday how poor he was. Very pleased. And Scott Taylor absolutely drilled him after a kick, and normally I'd be having a go. And if he'd have attacked his leg, I might have even gone, well, I was a bit naughty, Scott, but he never hit him around the chest.
What about that interception pass?
Yeah, for a lovely interception pass for Albert Kelly to toy with London's defence and race away.
That was taking the piss, that one, at another level.
He maybe got over for a try, fell over from acting half and bounced his belly on the ball, and whether he got it down or not is debatable.
You really don't like him, do you?
I just think with London, heavily reliant on fullback. Alex Walker, I was very impressed with him. He caused us a lot of problems.
He got a man of steel point, actually. They did Mr. Walker. They gave the 3 to... Oh, God. Griffin, yeah. The 2 to Danny Houghton and the 1 to Alex Walker.
Interesting. I thought Carlos Tumabavi was very good for us as well. Again, dangerous.
I'm going to get on to the good stuff first before I'm going to rant. For all... Scott Taylor was obviously awesome. Nothing new. It's nothing new at all. He's like that week in, week out.
He had a point to prove, didn't he? He was very poor against Wakefield.
Well,
and he lost his start.
Everyone's on and off day.
They are, but he lost his starting berth.
Does that actually matter? It's when you play your stints, isn't it? You know, Scott Taylor against the Tyrion Pax.
I reckon it probably did matter to Scott Taylor. He sees himself as our number one prop forward, our number one forward. He sees himself as our natural leader. And by going onto the bench, you could see he came on with a bit between his teeth, and it was a bit of a masterstroke from Radford.
Well, it was outstanding, Taylor. What impressed me more, given that Taylor's like that 9 times out of 10, just to shut Johnny up, Mickey Pearce was great. You know, I've rinsed Mickey Pearce. Yep. I don't think he's been good enough. He was great in the first stint at all. Then went to Newcastle for 2 years in the NRL, hardly played. He's come back. It was poor last year. I think 99% of all fans will agree and say it was poor last year. But for me, he sort of got a rocket up his ass after that the reserve game against Wakefield. He came back. He started against Wigan. He was okay. Good against Huddersfield. Good against Leeds. Then he got injured for the Wakefield game. He's come back. He was good again. And for me, right now, you can't really ask for much more. He's making a good average gain. He's getting his leg drives going. He's not missing many tackles in defence. I think right now we're getting the Mickey Pearce that we thought we were getting 18 months ago.
I agree with you completely. I think it was half-time at Huddersfield where the transformation happened. He played a really short stint first half, if you remember, at Huddersfield. And played about 15, 20 minutes. Got pulled off. We were... Because the first half, you remember, against Huddersfield, they dominated us. They were, or not never dominated us, but
they were in the game. They were in the game, weren't they? I'll say
it was an arm wrestle, and it was a game where we expected to probably to run away with it a bit more sooner than we did. He came on second half and he led the charge at him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
and that's exactly what he did on Sunday as well. He was a leader in that team, and he set a platform that we played off the back of, and it was noticeable when he went off that platform wasn't necessarily the same. Ellis probably had his poorest game since he's come back.
Yeah, it's quiet,
and poor's the wrong word. Quiet is the right. He still put himself about defensively, but London were good. They nullified our go forward for long periods. Then we missed Joe Westerman. We missed that third pivot.
Just a bit of ball control, innit? And gets us, moving to the edges a bit better.
Well, he engages them because they don't know whether they don't know if he's going to throw.
Well, you either slide and he runs through you, or you don't slide and he'll create the space for others.
Exactly.
Carlos was outstanding again. Yeah, I was impressed with Josh Griffin as well. Some old fans that have got a bit of beef for Griffin. I don't know why. Griffin's a really good rugby league player. Thought that when he was at Salford, and I thought that when he was in Hull. I've actually been banned off of Facebook for Hull FC for calling someone an idiot when they started saying that Griffin wasn't good enough. Free country, I thought. I'm getting banned for defending Hull players now on a Hull FC forum. But yeah, Carlos was good. The game, I thought Hull deserved to win the game. London were very good. London will beat a lot of Super League sides this year, especially at home. I don't think they'll stay up. I've said that all season. I'll stand by it. But the way the game was officiated, Scott Mikulowski should never be allowed near a Super League match again because he's absolutely hopeless. And we won the game. I'm criticising the referee after my team was won because, in my opinion, this is the perfect time to point out his errors. When you do it after a defeat, you're just blaming the ref. It's sour grapes because you got beat. No, it's not. I don't like to bag refs. I'd see it as a cop-out most of the time, and there's obviously other issues that you could complain about. But Mikulowski is absolutely hopeless. It's like if you ever watch Johnny Compton put the ball on a tee and try to take a conversion. It's like it's like that. It's not
TP straight over.
TP.
It's just moaning because I'm better than him.
Oh wow! We'll do a meat pies and shots from Cot Tigers training ground next time. But Mikulowski, he's absolutely hopeless, and I didn't say so much on the Cream Twitter feed, and I got a Rovers fan who actually replied and said he's never enjoyed a game that Mikulowski has refereed, and a Wakefield fan called Ben came on and pretty much said the same thing. Some of the penalties he gave were unreal. We had one where Kieran Dixon trapped the arm of Mark Sneyd, and Mark Sneyd was like trying to pull away. You could see him trying to get away, but he trapped his arm. He couldn't, and Mikulowski was for a penalty. There was another one. Beretta Fremo didn't regain his feet, and he sort of played the ball into the square marker in front of him without getting on his feet. And Mikulowski was a penalty. The penalty should be the other way around because you got to regain your feet before you play the ball. There was loads of whining from players, flapping arms and trying to con penalties. And to be fair to Mikulowski, this is something in our game which, players aren't helping referees. Players aren't being honest in our game. It's really creeping into Super League where the play acting's increasing, the milking, as I say, trying to get penalties. Players are taught to win penalties. There's no doubt about that. They are taught, and especially in the wrestle, like I say, with your trapping of arms and other limbs where you can, get players done for holding down.
Maguire brought it in, didn't he?
Yeah.
When he came over it.
Yeah, Michael Maguire.
It transformed the way that we do and we operate.
Well, I've got a mate called Jack Snowden who said that His terminology was Michael Maguire came in and revolutionised how Super League was played, especially defensively. And he's right, because that's when we saw like the formation of all the wedges that everyone plays with now. It was all Maguire. He came in and he did that.
I look at it. We talk about referees here, and I had a good think about this, and he was everything Dan said is absolutely bang on. It was awful.
It was dog shit. It was
awful.
horrendous. Yeah.
And we had a really poor referee the week before in Liam Moore, and he was even worse than him.
I can't say that because we got beaten. We'll just get called sore losers.
But my take on it is, I can sort of live with it if there's consistency. Like all the referees are going to have their own interpretation of the rules, and they're going to referee in a different style. And you understand that. Some referees are going to let a bit more go. Bentham, when he was a referee, he invariably had let an awful lot go.
Which I didn't mind.
But you knew your game would flow and what you could. And then you've got somebody like James Child, who he is picky at the play. You will get a quick ruck because he will penalise you at the ruck and go from there. And you understand that. You can work to that. You can live with it if they're consistent. And there was one glaring thing on Sunday which struck me, and it just made me realise that he's not got a clue about what he's doing. Elway Pelissier was a thorn in our side all the time he was on because he played Mikulauskis big time. There was a couple of times, retreating defenders, he would run into them and he got penalties. The penalty count was 10-1 at half time.
14-7 at full time.
Yeah, 10-1 at half time. It was ridiculous. And we weren't that untidy that it should have been 10-1.
The play of the balls, to elaborate on your point, Johnny, a whole player moved out the way, like rolled out the way, and they played the ball that hard, so they made sure that the ball hit him. It was 3 yards away.
But there was one instant. What the point I was getting to was Elway Pelissier ran off, took off from dummy half, went 5 metres. The retreating defender pushed into him, and he blew up and gave a penalty in exactly the same spot on the field in the second half. Danny Houghton runs out of dummy half into a retreating defender, retreating marker pushes him off, and he waves play on. And it was exactly the same location in the pitch, exactly the same scenario, and there was no consistency there. And I think all fans, all we want is consistency.
You can appreciate, obviously, it's an hard gig being a Super League referee. I mean, we do the cut on the nines and trying to keep up with them is hard enough, never mind keeping up with Super League, these athletes. But it's what you're paid to do. We don't get paid at Cottingham Tigers. These Super League referees, some of them are full time.
Not paying you, are they? Do you not get paid?
Oh, you're the boss. You should pay me. Well, yeah, this is their full time gig in some cases, and they've got to be a lot, more responsible than they are. Mikulauskis is hopeless. No matter who he referees, you get both sets of fans, whether they win, draw, or lose, saying the same thoughts.
On a positive note, Hull FC won.
Yeah, we'll leave that there for end of part 2. Part 3 will contain our rants of choice for this particular week. I'll see you in a bit.
It's there.